When you take the time to understand the needs of the people that work with you, and you start to make their workplace a happier place.
Take talk. Let's talk. This is the Miten Shah Show. We've asked the same 7 questions to entrepreneurs from all over the world to figure out what makes us tick. Take talk. Let's talk. Welcome back. Today we're here with Jorge. Jorge, thank you very much for being here. If you can tell us a little bit about yourself and how would you explain what your company does to a 7-year-old child?
Okay, to a 7-year-old child, I would say we help people feel good, and we make them healthier.
Awesome. Yeah. What got you started?
Well, I never saw this. I work in a family business. I never saw it in my professional panorama. I'm actually an architect, and I wanted to keep working on that. And my family business is healthcare. But after I finished my MBA and the new skills I had acquired, I saw there was a necessity in the family company for new blood to come in and bring it back to life. So that's why I decided to come back. I was living in the Netherlands, so I decided to return to El Salvador and dedicate my life to the family company.
Awesome. What keeps you up at night, and what makes you jump out of bed in the morning?
Well, I would say an angel and a demon.
Okay.
Yeah, the angel is the excitement I get for projects and for ideas to improve the business or the conditions of our people. And the demon, I would say, is the financial risks you incur, the responsibility, the burden of responsibility that you have upon your shoulders when you manage a family company. You know your family depends on you, and you know all of your employees depend on you. So it's not something that you can take on lightly.
Can we dive into the family dynamics in the business? Because it's a family business. How are the family dynamics a little bit different? Because I'm also coming from a family business. That's why I'm interested to know your perspective.
Well, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Every business book I read has told me that if a family member is not adding value to the company, then they shouldn't work in the company. But my father is from a different kind of school. He's more of a responsibility kind of person. If you're part of the family, you have a responsibility towards the company. But if you're not putting in the passion, then why should you be in there? But yes, it's difficult, because you're adding the family dynamics.
Yeah.
And I have not the best example because I miss the golden rule of not talking business at home or of work. So I told you that it keeps me up at night, all the responsibility that I have upon me and all the risks that I take so as to make the company grow and be able to provide more for the family, to provide for the next generations. So that's the same reason I wake up in the morning. Sometimes you don't want to wake up. Sometimes you're so tired, you're so stressed, and maybe sometimes you really want to quit because it's just too much. I can say sometimes I wish I could run away and become an architect again and dedicate to design my life. And but no, you remember that you have so many families that depend on you, and specifically your own family. So that is the strongest kind of calling, I would say, and the strongest reason to get up in the morning and do your best.
It's the whip, actually, right? You know, like
it's both a blessing and a curse. I would say you do it for the right reasons, but it's also something that won't let you go.
A whip can take off a fly, but it can also, hit.
Exactly. I never imagined it that way. But that's a pretty vibrant picture.
What do you know now that you wish you knew when you began this journey?
I have 2 key lessons, I would say. The first one is that the people are the most important part of any business. And if I had worked more on my people before, I would have seen much better results so far than I have only focusing on investing in infrastructure, investing in customer service. It's really a very, very big gap with what you can achieve if you actually improve the conditions to your own people within the company and work on their motivation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first one. And the second one is that you don't jump into a project without proper planning.
What are some of the mistakes you've made that others can learn from?
Well, the first mistake I'm not the first one, but maybe the strongest one I've ever made is that I thought you could discard people as pawns on a chessboard, and that I've been unfortunate to let people go that required better leadership, and I don't think somebody can be unfit for a job. It's mostly you haven't been able to lead them properly.
Yeah.
And then I've been fortunate enough to keep some people that I was about to let go, and that now they've developed into incredible leaders within the company. So they are maybe one of the things I'm most proud about in my journey as an entrepreneur, being able to see them develop alongside me.
Right. So the mistake is letting people go.
Yeah,
for the wrong reasons.
Discarding people before really digging deeper into what's going on. And I would bet in most of the cases it's bad leadership more than an unfit employee. Yeah. That's and the other mistake I would say is wasting money.
Okay.
Like closing deals with a handshake and not the proper documentation leads to a lot of waste of money. Not doing proper budgeting, and
that's money, time, and energy, because then you have to rectify.
Yeah, and provisioning also for paying dividends and getting money out of the cash flow, because once if it stays there, it's always going to be in the cycle, and it's also a lot of energy that you spend on it. And and in wasting money, I have so many subcategories that I can go into to explain why that's one of my biggest mistakes.
Looking back now, what are some of the points that you were most proud and happy about or most satisfied with?
What I mentioned before about my employees, the people in my team that I've seen grow, I've seen develop. I think they're the reason I'm most proud of what I've achieved as a leader. Working close with them and seeing them develop, coaching them to go to greater heights, and not letting them go too fast, because I've also seen what happens. If you push somebody too fast and you give them too much responsibility, then they're probably going to fail and get frustrated. So balancing that and seeing them flourish, that has been one of my greatest prides. And also, after being involved in risky investments and putting so much energy into them and seeing them work out, that's a great relief. And and
you can finally breathe.
It makes me feel proud that my vision was fulfilled, and that luckily I wasn't wrong this time. But that's why I mentioned the part about being well prepared. That it's a mistake I don't want to make again.
That's deep. The Tim Ferriss question: if you had a billboard and you could put on any message you want, what would that message be?
Well, I have a very nice phrase for that, and I wrote it earlier, so I'm gonna need to look at this.
Sure.
It's treat everyone with dignity, learn to listen, and never assume to be right. And
treat everyone with dignity, learn to listen, and never assume to be right.
Yes, because I'm a very determined person, and I push my will. I want to achieve what I set out for. So I would say I'm a greedy person. Greedy with a T, not even double E. But I've always assumed I can be wrong. So that has helped me to learn a lot. And I never fail to listen to everyone that works with me, from the most operational type of job to the highest managerial responsibility. They all have some wisdom that you have to interpret as a leader.
How has EO made a difference in your personal, family, business, and community life?
I would say I wanted to be a member of EO ever since I was like 18 years old. But I never ever thought it would have an influence in my personal life. And now that I've been a member for almost 3 years, I've seen most of the impact in my personal life rather than in my business life. Personally, it has helped me endure some of the toughest times of my life, business-wise or work-wise. All these projects that I have been subtly mentioning, all these key learnings have come from that experience. And if I had not been an EO, if I had turned it down, as I mentioned in the beginning, who knows where I'd be right now? Who knows if I would have had the strength to carry on? And I've gotten that strength from sharing experiences with other EO members outside of an event or at my forum, which is something I value more than any other EO experience. Yeah. Regarding business,
personal,
yeah, I think I managed to learn a lot from the learning events and find out about books I need to read.
Okay.
And by reading books, I've
like, for example, the books.
Well, maybe one of the first books I read was Scaling Up.
Okay.
I haven't really applied it yet systematically, but I learned a lot that I've applied it to whatever extent I have understood. And probably the books that have helped me most business-wise are the books about understanding how the human beings think more than anything else. I actually would love to pursue a master's in neurosciences. Because
NLP sort of stuff,
I love understanding how people think, because sometimes you're just closed off to your own thoughts, and you have this great barrier that separates you from understanding how others behave and why they behave in such a way. So, yeah, I would say Yuval Harari's *Sapiens*, *Homo Deus*, Robert Greene's Laws of Human Nature, and the 48 Laws of Power. Also, 12 Rules for Life by is it?
I don't know the name, but sweet. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
inviting me.
Pleasure to meet you.